Stream your favorites and discover more with the Disney Bundle. Watch the new season of Loki on Disney+. On Hulu, fear creeps in with the boogeyman. And touchdown with college football on ESPN+. All of these and more streaming now. Get the Disney Bundle with plans starting at $9.99 a month. Plans with ESPN+ starting at $14.99 a month. Terms apply. See DisneyBundle.com for details.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
David Samson with us now to discuss
Why are you clapping?
Because there's news that broke,
Right.
and we brought him in. Why can't I clap?
Okay.
Chris is a big clapper, though.
I
Stu.
love I'm bringing the energy. I'm like,
sorry.
David's here to
Great,
thanks.
Lazy River, my apologies. Jeremy, continue. I'm
he's here
sorry.
to tell us some shit.
Okay.
You know, I was feeling a little insecure about starting this segment, and
Why,
so
because
thank
of the
you
sweater?
for breaking the tension. Yeah, because of the sweater.
That's honestly what I felt. I felt Jeremy feeling a little uneasy, so I wanted to give him a little energy. Let's go. We got this, baby. We're in here.
We have energy. Anyway, Kim Ng and the Miami Marlins parted ways this morning. That news came out early. We were reacting to it live during the local hour. Obviously, a lot of questions about how far the negotiations went on any sort of contract extensions with Kim Ng in Miami. There are all sorts of statements coming out through the media now from Kim, from the Marlins, and including the fact that Bruce Sherman and Kim Ng seemingly had different ideas of where the front office should go. David, we bring you in now to discuss this. Obviously, this is huge news in Major League Baseball with your former franchise. What are your initial thoughts as you hear this news that Kim Ng and the Marlins are parting ways?
I'm not at all surprised that they're parting ways. I was just surprised at the timing, especially during the LCS, especially with 2 games going on today. Baseball wants to keep its focus on the playoffs and on the field. And you're getting a lot of attention now, and it's negative attention because people are thinking it's a step backwards because Kim was the first female GM and got a ton of attention for that. But at the end of the day, when you hear philosophical differences, what that means is a power struggle that the employee is always going to lose to the owner every single time. And I think people within baseball knew that this was going on, so there's not a lot of surprise inside the industry.
You talk about the power struggle within the organization. Derek Jeter was making essentially all decisions when he brought in Kim Ng. Kim Ng was essentially, according to all reports, brought in to execute Derek Jeter's vision. Then Derek Jeter leaves. Kim Ng seemingly gets all of the decision-making power within the front office, but we know that those things are different. We know that there are some Jeter leftovers within that front office. The Marlins have not done a very good job of developing their own players in the minor league system and scouting over the last couple of years when it comes to the amateur draft. So do you think that this might have to do with that level of power struggle to make up who the people around Kim Ng are, or do you believe it's more about her decision-making process?
Well, she always needed people around her to help make baseball decisions. But I want to go back to what you said. Derek Jeter was running the baseball side. Kim was a figurehead. That was her job. And it's not just Kim. Everybody on the baseball side was a figurehead other than Derek. He made the decisions. As a matter of fact, Bruce Sherman wasn't even aware when Mike Hill was not brought back. He was surprised that that happened. And the divorce of Bruce Sherman and Derek Jeter is what started this train that we are currently on, where Bruce Sherman wants to be the owner. He wants to be involved. He wants to be making decisions. He doesn't want to read about his team in the paper and have someone rogue doing everything. And that's what Derek was doing. So once they fired Derek, Kim is in there. But at the end of the day, Kim wanted a level of decision-making power that she just didn't have. She wanted the right, which is, of course, her right, or anybody's right, to have her own people, hire her own people, and have a bigger say in the direction of the franchise. But the owner really is the ultimate person, and Bruce is flexing his ownership muscles right now, which he should do. So this next hire is going to be someone who Bruce is familiar with, who Bruce can work with, and who knows and has the trust of Bruce Sherman. And that's what I think you'll see in their next hire.
David, I apologize. I promised the crew it's a lazy river. I will follow the lazy river wherever it goes. Tony and Chris are distracted. What the hell is going on with you two?
I can't stop watching First Take. Rex Ryan looks like an unhinged Woody Page. It's driving me crazy. I can't stop looking at it.
Is it possible to have 2 white teeth?
Unhinged Woody Page feels like an oxymoron.
What do you mean? His teeth are too white?
Rex Ryan's teeth are too white. There, I said it.
Okay. They're what you would think of as white, Like, that's what I think of.
Right, but Woody Page is actually the funnier observation there.
It's like
Botox Woody Page.
And I noticed I would have been distracted as well.
Gary Busey, too. There's a little Gary Busey in there.
There's a touch of Gary in there.
Yeah.
Buttered sausage.
Anyways, back to baseball.
David, would you be surprised if Kim ended up with the New York Mets?
I would not be surprised if Kim worked under David Stearns. I wouldn't be surprised if she worked under somebody in Boston or even back with the New York Yankees. Kim has a lot of strengths, but I do not see her going in and being the number one decision maker at any team. And that's something that, of course, baseball would want to see happen. They would like to see diversity. They'd like to see a female head. They'd like to see more people of color. I'm just not sure it's going to be Kim. And so for Marlins fans, don't be despondent. This is about actually the organization getting better and Bruce Sherman trying to figure out how to make it work with the payroll they had, knowing they've got some decisions they have to make going forward. So I don't take it as a negative for the Marlins. It's just a negative the way it's being perceived around baseball, or not inside baseball, but around baseball.
David, it does feel like a bad day for Marlin fans. It does.
But and that's why I'm saying it shouldn't. I think that we should pay attention to who the next hire is going to be and realize what really happened with the Marlins is Derek did not do a fantastic job of running that team, and they're recovering from that. Derek recovered from when I ran it and said he needed years to recover. Well, the Marlins may need years to recover from him running it, but someone will be in there who will work with Bruce, who will be in charge. And there are really good moments ahead for the Marlins. Such a great pitching staff, which they have, of course, without Sandy next year. That's not ideal. But again, the takeaway from this news is not the Marlins being the Marlins, where they don't recognize greatness and they let it go. This is about a very simple power struggle where Kim wanted an amount of power that Bruce was not going to let her have, and rightly so. And I don't blame Bruce, and I don't blame Kim for wanting to move on.
He's going to bring that big Phoenix energy.
Why is Derek Jeter in every commercial?
It's unreal, isn't it? He's become the number one pitch guy. If I have to see, do you know that commercial of the Wagoneer?
Such bullshit, David. It is a bullshit commercial that he's not taking a private jet and he's driving a Wagoneer down to Miami. It's bullshit.
And he sees a wolf.
And he's making him out to be a family man.
Bullshit.
It is really unreal. And that is filmed. The outside of that commercial when he pulls in, that is his house in Tampa, the one that Tom Brady was he rented that from Derek. Mm-hmm. And that's where Mike Hill and I went to meet with Derek. And he had Hannah walking around and he was trying to seduce us into giving him information or to being helpful to him as he was trying to buy the team. And we just sat there and listened to him talk and looked at his house. And so that, strangely enough, was filmed right where he used to live.
Does he need the money or what? He's in he's doing a lot.
Is he broke?
Everybody who's rich wants to be richer, and he has an opportunity to do it. So he's doing all these commercials, all the things he couldn't do.
It's just that I rented a Wagoneer last weekend. It was terrible. It was it was like driving a boat. It was so big. It was
Jeep
impossible to park.
A
Wagoneer should not exist. We should not have these things on the road. They are too giant.
Hold on, David's got something on this.
The far better question in my mind is, tell me the value of sponsorship and of advertising. You see Derek Jeter in a car. Does that make you want to get a Wagoneer or not get a Wagoneer, according to whether you like or don't like Jeter? I happen to think it's not relevant, though I spent 18 years trying to convince people to sponsor because everybody cares and pays attention. Do you make purchasing decisions based on what you see on TV?
I think that since he's working with Alex Rodriguez on the ALCS broadcast for Fox, I think maybe he does need the money, considering how much they hate each other.
The food commercials get me. I'm like, damn, KFC, I got to order you again. These damn.
To Wagoneer's credit, I am only paying attention to the commercial because I'm like, is that Derek Jeter? Every time it comes on.
I'm like, is that a coyote?
I think there's a lagging impact when I see a commercial, a food commercial, because I watched a documentary once that when you see like the quarter pounder with cheese or the hamburgers or the pizza from Pizza Hut, that is never what it looks like. And the kind of stuff they do when they put food in a commercial, it's inedible. It's not real. And it's so gross. And then you're so disappointed when you open the Big Mac bun and you get all this special sauce leaking everywhere. I think that these commercials don't do justice to the food. It's the opposite for me.
David, how badly does Major League Baseball want the Phillies in the World Series?
Very badly.
Yes.
They need the Phillies in the Astros rematch. It's the best of the worst situation. Obviously, they'd like long series. They would have liked Los Angeles to get through. Certainly, they would have preferred a New York team to be around, but they can have the Diamondbacks win this series. And when it comes to Texas against Houston, they'd rather have Houston because people aren't apathetic toward Houston. They hate them or they love them, and that's what you need to get ratings. And this postseason has been disappointing for baseball because the series have been so quick, and the biggest teams didn't even make the playoffs.
David, just a couple minutes left in this segment. I want to bring it back to the Marlins and Kim Ng and what you mentioned about Bruce Sherman sort of wanting to put his impact on this and be a part of the baseball decision-making. You were a part of the Marlins when there was a owner who decided he wanted to be a part of those decision-making processes. For those of us who remember...
And that stunk.
Yeah. So I guess the question would be, if you look at an organization here that did just make the playoffs, and we went into some of the things that Kim did that were really positive toward that, like the trade deadline, and some of the other decisions that have been made with this roster that weren't necessarily advantageous. But, you were headed on the right direction. So how are Marlins fans supposed to feel about the idea that, hey, there seemed to be leadership taking us in the right direction, and now there is that change? Not necessarily saying that'll be a bad thing, but how are you supposed to feel when the past indicates that the quote-unquote meddlesome owner, might not be a good thing?
Well, first of all, there's 30 meddlesome owners. Second of all, Derek Jeter was that. So he was, if you say meddlesome, he was the CEO of the company and he was being the GM. So I'm not sure what the difference is in terms of where they were versus where they are. Bruce Sherman is just trying to be normal and be involved as an owner. The question is, do you become the type of owner who has someone who you believe in, who can give you a few wins? That's how you manage up, is you can't say no all the time to your owner. You once in a while have to give in, but yet you keep control when it matters. And that's something that Derek didn't even communicate with Bruce. So Bruce wants to be communicated with. He wants to act like an owner and be an owner, especially with the investment that he and the other owners have made since 2017. So again, I don't view this as negative. I believe the Marlins will be better off with a new person working with Bruce Sherman than they were with Kim Ng.
Nothing Personal with David Samson. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts, and, of course, right here on the Batard Network and the DraftKings Network. David, we appreciate the time, man.
Look at you, Stu.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten how to do this yet. I mean, we're getting there, though.
Emphasis on yet.
Yes.
You just did a read.
I did, yeah.
He's going to bring that big Phoenix energy.
Thank you, David.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. I've got good memories of football, some recent bad memories of football. But one thing about football is Miller Lite makes it better, even when it's not necessarily going your way. And unless you're one of a handful of professional football teams or collegiate squads, chances are something hasn't necessarily broke your way this year. Hell, maybe you've even had a result in hand and felt pretty sure about it, but you just decided against it, and it just wasn't your day. Well, whether it's your day or not, let me tell you something. Pair your national obsession of football with Miller Lite. From kickoff to the final whistle, you just can't go wrong with a Miller Lite in your hand. It's the only light beer with a taste worthy of football. I'm telling you, this is what I do every football Saturday and Sunday. While my teams leave me with regret occasionally, Miller Lite never really does. Make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
Oh, I like firing people. So I take the opportunity to fire whenever I possibly can because I can use it as a learning experience for them and try to help them out and try to point out what they did wrong. But in this case, the employee was enough levels below where I was that I did not do the firing, but I had it done within moments of discovery.
I love the idea. I like firing people. It's just absurd. It's absurd.
Stugotz.
I'm talking about people who I fire who deserve it, who have done something that actively requires me to fire them. It is my unadulterated pleasure to do so.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Hawk, are you good at golf?
No, I could be really good. I bet I could be top. If you gave me probably
in 5 months, I can almost guarantee I'd be good at golf.
Chris, can you explain what it is we need? We're chasing down a third. We need a third to play golf with, which is usually an easy thing to find, someone to play golf with. But maybe Hawk knows somebody who's good at golf since he's not there yet. Describe to the audience what it is we need here.
I love how you just immediately went away from him being one of our players, and you're just like,
Well,
so you're not a golfer.
No,
so
Chris,
who do you know that could play?
Chris,
Possibly?
you told me we needed someone who's better than you,
That's
and you're really good.
I'm with you.
Right.
Hawk, you don't make the cut yet.
Okay.
Maybe you could get there, but we need someone November 1st.
November 1st. Yeah, I don't have time
Who's
for that.
better than me?
Explain what we're doing, though.
Wait, I'm sorry. Excuse me. What?
What?
You need a golfer?
Yeah.
November 1st?
And you didn't call
better
me?
than you?
Yeah.
What else is the criteria?
Availability.
Right.
Okay.
I don't
Go on.
Look,
She's
relax.
boxing you in. Go ahead.
You're invited. I mean, that's
to watch her to play. Can you explain the YouTube show that we're doing first, and then we'll have this discussion? Because you're right, Jess probably should be in consideration.
We are competing against Bob Does Sports.
Right.
And they are 3 really good golfers.
Yep.
And it's going to be best ball, 3-on-3.
Right.
And we are in the market for our third golfer. I think. Do we want to say who you've already asked somebody?
I sent a pitch to Trey Wingo. He has not responded yet. He has not given me a yes or a no.
Is this on your course, Stu?
No, it's not on my course.
Oh.
No.
Away game.
Right.
Who is the worst of you two at golf?
Me.
You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Stugotz is the reason we need a really good player.
I was going to
Thank
say,
you,
that's why
Chris.
it needs to be better than Chris.
I was waiting
Got it.
for it, Chris. Yes, someone needs to be better than Chris.
Okay.
So you're not there yet.
So you're in my spot, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
But what I'm
Got it.
wondering is, do you know someone who might be better than Chris?
Oh, man. I'd have to think. It's tough.
How's Joe Thomas?
Yeah.
Joe, I don't think he's good. I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
No.
He has really bad knees, bad back. He's like 7 feet tall.
Are you friends with Adam Thielen?
No, I am
Okay.
not.
Damn.
Friends with Adam Thielen.
Are you friends with Kyle Rudolph? He's very good at golf.
I do know Kyle.
Rudy?
Yeah. And
He's
Gojo,
Cincinnati native.
Gojo
That's
knows
our
him
guy.
too, so you
Yeah.
have a 2-person in now.
Cal might be the one.
All right.
I could probably get to him.
He can drive the ball like 400 yards. It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. I can get to him. Chris, let's book him tomorrow. I'm going to give Trey 24 hours to get back to me. And if he doesn't, then we try to prod Kyle Rudolph into coming down here and joining us for the golf tournament. You good?
I'm great.
All right, Rudy. I mean,
He plays in Golik's tournament every year.
does he play well?
Does
He
win?
wins every year.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
He's
There you go.
so
Wow.
good.
We would take him.
Okay. Yes, he's better than you. Yes. If I say the Dolphins, okay, are the best team in the NFL, are you going to push back?
I'm not going to push back.
Really?
I'm not going to push back.
Wow.
I know that sounds crazy to people, but the reason why I think they are so good is the same reason why I think the Lions are really good. They're somewhat injury proof, right? Like when guys get hurt or guys go out of the lineup, they are still top tier and they have a pretty consistent output, where the rest of these teams, they've been very hot or cold. Now, I see the Eagles. We know the 49ers have both got their first loss this week, but they look like different teams. And even when the Eagles were winning, we didn't feel super fuzzy about it. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they lose Achane. They don't even have Jalen Ramsey in the lineup yet. And they're only getting better. And obviously, offensively, I just don't know how teams are going to stop them. At some point in every NFL season for really good offensive teams, everybody figures it out. The Dolphins are doing things so different on a week-to-week basis. I don't think that's ever going to be the case. So they're only going to continue to ascend.
It's pretty wild that you see other teams, like, was it last night? Was it the Giants or I forget which team last night? They're trying to do this stuff where the guy coming in motion and some guy was offside, like a false start. Like, teams are blatantly trying to rip, like, this, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's working, and it's rare that you just see in season, like, a play that the Dolphins ran, just another team. Like, how common is it to just, that was a good play, we're going to implement that this week?
I mean, it's common. They always say the term, it's a copycat league, right? But at the same time, they're not able to run it at the same execution of the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are pretty much running the same plays. They are just week to week finding completely different ways to get to it. And then on top of that, that motion that Tyreek Hill does, that is something that has revolutionized football already. A lot of teams are doing it. You're only going to see it continue to grow, because essentially what it's turning the NFL game into is into the Canadian Football League or the Arena Football League.
Start.
It's essentially a waggle motion, right? And as someone who played in the CFL before he went to the NFL, if you have someone fast and quick who is at a full speed sprint at the snap of the ball while you are standing flat-footed, it's impossible to stop them or slow them down.
Why are some teams like not doing these pre-snap movements? Like there's teams that do it at a very high pace. So obviously San Francisco, Kevin O'Connell does in Minnesota. Obviously the Dolphins do it. There's some teams that just don't do it at all. Why?
It's a trickle down. It's coaching, right? And let me kind of back this up for you. When you see teams play very fast, it's because they're smart. Or they understand the offense at that level. Now, when Shanahan, the McDaniels, they start implementing their system day one of the offseason program, like down to the finest detail, because everything about their offense is to make it as simple as possible so you play as fast as possible. And when you're able to play as fast as possible and it's that simple, you take the thinking out. So when you start to add stuff in the middle of a season, when teams are already trying to figure out their playbook or the coach is adding new things and it's all on the player to remember these things, you can only put so much into it because then for every detail you add in, they forget something else. Whereas in the Shanahan offense and the Mike McDaniel offense, it is so automatic that the guys, they literally, like, it's a language that is spoken that they can just say it and you're just reacting and you can still do it at a very, very high efficiency rate.
Is Hill the best player in the NFL?
Yes.
Non-quarterback division.
Yes. Shout out to the under 5'10 Kings, man. It's been a long time coming. We have finally taken our rightful place as the best football players in the world. Tyreek Hill is receiver number one.
You are so happy.
I am so happy. This is something you don't understand. As a 5'7" wide receiver in high school with 0 offers and everyone saying there is no way you could be effective at Division I, let alone in professional. To see Tyreek Hill do what he's doing, let's hope it's a copycat league. And in 10 years, all the receivers are 5'9" and under.
I think the amazing thing is the Chiefs won a Super Bowl without him.
Yeah, no, that is amazing. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is equally as good as Tyreek Hill is at wide receiver.
Where do you see the Dolphins' regression? Because they lead everything right now. Like, they can't lead the league in rushing and passing, can they? We've never seen that. We were talking earlier. We've seen offenses like 2 in passing, 8 in rushing. Like, it's usually that. It's 1 and 1. There has to be a regression somewhere.
If I was to point one thing out about the Dolphins that I'm like, we got to get that under control, it would be Tua, when he gets to his second and third progressions that are not to the side he's facing, right? Because like I told you, the detail is amazing, and Tua is such an incredibly fast, elite processor that whenever the throw that he's going for is there, he finds it immediately. The next one finds it. The moments when those two have been taken away and he has to kind of scan.
It's what Buffalo did to him.
He starts to panic a little bit.
Yes.
The answers are still there. It's just in and of himself, he starts to get uncomfortable. That's the moment that if you can take those moments away, if you can take those targets away, a team may figure out how to start to see, oh, okay, I see something there.
What about the Dolphins defense? Do you see them fixing anything in that aspect before everybody comes back from injury?
Yeah, I think that for what the Dolphins defense had, they are very, very talented. And I think the combination that the offense does for the defense, they kind of work hand in hand, right? And if the offense continues to operate at the clip that they are operating, it'll give the defense a chance to figure that out as they go along, because defense is actually, it's tougher for them to, all right, at the beginning of a season every year, offenses suck, right? Because it's just straight up defense or balling. So defenses just naturally have a certain decline because offenses now know what to attack, whereas the offense goes the other way. But the Dolphins are getting players back. I think when they get Jalen Ramsey back, it's going to take them to a new level, because literally he is going to shut down the side of a field, and I don't think people realize how much, especially in today's game, that does for a defense.
You think Vic Fangio could help the team more if he came down from the booth?
You're a jackass.
I've been pushing.
Jesus
You've been
Christ,
saying
man.
that down 14-0 yesterday, weren't you?
I've been singing this all year.
Right.
I really think
Get out of the booth!
I really like a defensive coordinator who's got his hand in the dirt down there.
No, absolutely not.
Come on.
I like him in the booth. I want you to be able to see it, man. You got to see the whole puzzle, how it comes together.
Have you ever had that like what are those phone calls like when like the OC wants to talk to you? How does it work? Is it's like Hawk, he wants you?
I think if he gets the Hawk, it's a bad call.
Yeah, if I get the OC call, damn it.
That's what I mean.
It's not good.
Is it only the quarterback, or will you ever in the middle of a game? Like, have you ever gotten?
Get me Hawkins!
It's kind of like the call to the principal's office. It's like Hawk, I want to talk to you.
Oh no, I've gotten the call.
Yeah.
You get the call, it's like, hey, OC wants to talk to you.
Pick up on that block. Are you not blocking? Is it when you're not blocking?
Hey, what's up, coach? It's like, are you not seeing cover 2? We talked about this, bud. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I seen it. What happened was the way he was aligned. Yeah, no. It's the cover 2. All right? Let's get it figured out. Okay, coach.
Do you ever have to talk back like, hey, I'm out here? Okay? It's a lot harder for me out here.
Why don't you come down here and say that to my face?
Yeah. I've done that. I've gotten to it with coaches before.
Right. I see you at halftime.
Wait, hold on. I want to explore this. What's the worst fight you've had with a coach?
Worst fight that I've had with a coach. In college, I literally went and played defense.
No way.
Yeah.
You're just like, I
Honest
got
to
this.
God.
What, you just stepped on the field?
Yeah, so I was returning a kick, and I accidentally, I was trying to catch the ball. I stepped out of bounds.
Right.
And it's like the worst thing you could do on a kickoff return. Obviously, it was an accident. I'm trying to make a play. We're down. He starts ringing me out. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's my bad. We go out there for the offense. We come back out. He is still on my head. And so I'm like, yo, I'm playing a damn game. Leave me alone. You know what? You're out. I'm like, fine, I'll go play defense. Cornerback coach puts me in that corner.
So you were Petey from Remember the Titans.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
I'll take Petey.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the kid that you replaced?
Huh?
How did he feel? What about the player that you stepped in and played corner for?
It doesn't matter.
Ryan Gosling?
How did Ryan Gosling
It
feel about
doesn't
it?
matter how he feels.
All right, fair
I went to
enough.
the NFL, okay?
You know what?
He's
You're right.
fine.
You're right.
All right.
Do you have any doubt who was the better player in that
Come on.
equation?
No, I'm just asking. I'm asking about egos, man. I don't know.
Donald Faison over here, man.
Where would most headbutting between players and is that in like the meeting rooms during practice, like out on the field in practice? Where's it most likely?
Yeah. I think the coaches will throw players under the bus, no problem at all. And you got to realize everybody is under judgment, whether you're coaching, whether you're playing under like the head coach or whoever. So it's usually a scenario where it's like, I told you to do this. And they're like, no, you didn't. And he's like, yes, I did, because the head coach told me to tell you. And I made sure. And he's like, no, you did not tell me that. And so they'll butt heads that way. And then also we're men. It's not like college is different because you need coaches. In the NFL, the hierarchy pretty much is the players. If I make a certain amount, I know you will be gone before me. So you got to watch how you talk to me, because honestly, yes, you're running the meeting, but I'm in charge type of situation. And that happens a lot.
And Hawk, it's totally different between college and pro, but when you see something like Mario where he didn't knee, the game ends up getting lost for the Miami Hurricanes, how does that translate in the locker room? Do you lose trust in your coaches if something like that happens?
College, no. NFL, yes. College, no, because it's like, I'm trying to get to the league. That's what's on everybody's mind. You want to win because you want to be showcased. You want to win championships, and that helps you go on to the next level. And professional, absolutely. That hurts you immediately. It's like, okay, this guy's a bird brain. I'm going to count down the days until you're not here anymore.
Hawk, I would say no. It hurts at both levels.
You think so?
Yeah, because
when you played college football, how did you approach it, Stugotz?
That's a great question. But when I coached lacrosse, okay, what the players needed to know was that I was going to make the right decision when the game was on the line.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, then I would lose my team. And I never did. We were undefeated for 2 years.
Great coaching.
That's incredible coaching. Belichick.
Had nothing to do with my daughter or her friends.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is brought to you by KFC's new hot and spicy wings. Get fired up this fantasy season with 8 pieces of spicy marinated hand-breaded wings for just $4.99. Are you kidding me? They're a can't-miss call for whatever the fantasy gods throw your way. In the midst of a managerial hot streak, keep it rolling with KFC's new hot and spicy wings. Did you just assemble the worst lineup in fantasy history? Who cares? You can get 8 KFC new hot and spicy wings for $4.99 right now. Marinated in spice, hand-breaded to perfection. KFC's new hot and spicy wings are here. 8 pieces for just $4.99. It's finger-licking good.
Hey guys, it's Tony. US Cellular is introducing Us Mode. It's like airplane mode, but for people. You got that? Cool. It's a way to set up your phone so it doesn't get in the way of people really being with each other. Block distractions and make way for a real connection. Give it a try. Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and they'll help set up your phone to Us Mode. For free. Really, for free. Even if you're not a customer, they'll still do it. That's how good US Cellular is. Built for superior 5G connection and real human connection. US Cellular. Built for us. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Dan Le Batard.
Well, my point about Jimbo Fisher is that Nick Saban, he's been trying to cancel me for saying that Mrs. Met has cake. And Bobby Bowden would have said, Mrs. Met, she is snatched.
Stugotz.
Yeah, I never pay for a player. Now, I would pay for Mrs. Met to give me a lap dance.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Hawk, as a former Maction player, are you kind of like looking over your shoulder at Conference
Action.
USA, scheduling all these midweek games this season? Like, all right, what are you guys doing here? Are you coming for our stuff here?
I think
USA.
we think
Play on Saturdays, guys.
We knew when I was in college that Tuesdays and Wednesdays were going to be the prime time spots, and now it does make us feel a little uncomfortable that everybody else is starting to see this ground that we broke in sports.
I found myself on Wednesday night, like with the 3-box multi-view on YouTube TV, watching 3 games at once. Like this doesn't feel. Don't you guys have school tomorrow?
We do. There is nothing worse than a Wednesday night game. Oh, it's the worst because you still have to go to classes the next day and the day before you leave. It throws your whole week off, and you have extra practices. It's not like a Monday Night Football game where it's like, oh, 1 extra practice. You are practicing extra for like 3 days.
So we talk to Austin Eckler every week on God Bless Football. He doesn't really like Monday night games. Like he likes Sunday at 4:00.
Yeah. No, that's that's how I was too. I like Sunday 1:00 games. I know when I'm playing. I know when it's over. I know when I can go home. Like everybody with their jobs. It's not any different.
100%. Is the justification, though, in Maction, like, at least these are all, like, sort of close games? Like, you might be able to take a bus to a few of them, whereas, like, CUSA, like, you're probably getting on a plane for some of these.
Bus to a few of them? We're busing to all of them. We will bus to Fresno, California in the MAC. We don't care.
How do you do football on a Sunday? Are you like me? Like, I just imagine you're a former player, so you can't be gross like me, just, like, eating just Doritos for like 6 straight hours.
Look at him, Chris.
Come on, just like
that's my cheat day.
What's you vegging out watching some? What is it? Paint like at your worst. What does it look like when you're just vegging out watching some football?
All right, so my Sunday is my cheat day. So I head up, take the family to church. On the way back, we order 2 large pizzas. I have at least 6 slices, extra pepperoni, light cheese.
Nice.
I got the NFL ticket multi.
A little weird, but
I'm black. When you're black and you get past 23, you become lactose intolerant. It's a universal thing. So you got to lighten the cheese, otherwise everybody else suffers.
Oh, look who backed off quickly there.
All of a sudden his mic is out. See that?
No, he just made a terrible joke.
We got the. You had to okay it first. Hey,
yeah, he definitely had to okay it first.
It did not get okayed.
With you, Roy.
Yes.
This is what the Meadowlark media family.
No.
Oh, do I want to hear that
conversation?
conversation?
That was a good joke.
Anyway, Hawk, sorry.
I got all the games up on NFL Ticket on 2 different big screens, and we're watching everyone. We're tapped in.
I guess I could say it for him. It was black toast intolerant.
Black
So I bailed you out on that one.
Roy, can I laugh?
Sure.
Hawk, what surprised you the most yesterday? The Eagles losing or the Niners losing?
The Niners. The Niners because the Browns were on their 3rd string quarterback.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, I did not expect that. I did not expect that in any stretch of the imagination. That was the biggest Browns win in like 13 years.
Yeah.
And that's
right.
And Deshaun's not even there.
I know.
I mean, he missed. That would have been the biggest win of Deshaun's career, let alone PJ Walker. And so yeah, I thought that was super surprising because I had the San Francisco 49ers as the league's best. And Jim Schwartz, man, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but he has Kyle Shanahan's number in a big way, and it just continued. Like, there's something real to that.
Is the carriage turned into a pumpkin for Brock Purdy, or was it the Browns' defense being just that good?
I think it's the Browns' defense being that good, man. They're elite. I think Myles Garrett, who didn't record a bunch of statistics, but he wreaks havoc like in a way that a lot of players can. I mean, there's few players like him, but I really think that Jim Schwartz and this defense are elite. And that's how they should be talked about, and that's how they should be considered week in and week out, because there's no way that the Browns should even be in that game without Nick Chubb, without Deshaun Watson, beat up at the offensive line, except for that defense completely halted everything the 49ers were trying to do.
Is there an argument to be made that the Lions are the best team in the NFC?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
I think there is an argument to be made because, like I said, they're injury proof. Even last week with no Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I love what the O coordinator Coach Johnson has been doing because they have such a stout run game, but the way that he mixes it up, like on 1st and 2nd down, continuing to pass, continuing to push the ball downfield. Jameson Williams is coming on for that receiving core. Like, they're only getting better.
That ball track was incredible, by the way.
It's amazing, and that's what he's going to provide. Like, he's the number 1 receiver. Like, eventually he has that kind of skill set, but right now all he's going to have to do is be that legitimate deep threat down the field, and it is going to open up so many other things for their offense. So they're going to get better, and they're able to sustain and be injury-proof. And even on the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, watching their other receivers block, that's how I judge a team. If I can see the way your receivers block, it tells me your mindset. And, man, he's got him going. Campbell's got him thinking the right way.
That question was prefaced by an argument could be made. And I feel like a pretty easy argument can be made for the Lions. Who's the crappiest team that an argument could
Chris,
be
before
made.
yesterday, no one would have said the Lions. It would have been Eagles 49ers. They both lost.
I'm just saying that the people have been on the line. I feel like we can go lower on that an argument can be made than the Lions.
Okay.
Who is the crappiest team that technically, though, an argument could be made for
that they're the best team in the NFC?
Just that they could make it to the Super Bowl.
That's a wild question.
An argument.
Either conference,
crappiest team.
Could I make an argument that the Rams could figure it out?
You can make an argument.
That's our lowest.
You think the Rams are the lowest?
How about the Jets?
I think an argument.
Well, listen, hey, let them speak.
I think an argument could be made that the Jets are the crappiest team who could end up in the Super Bowl.
Woof. Right. I mean, I have a guy making an argument for the first time ever about the Jets making it to the Super Bowl.
Let me
enjoy the moment.
We're basically
Chris.
making him do it, though.
How do we feel about the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Oh, really narrow me in.
Jags are frisky right now.
Yeah. I mean, but you see the defense yesterday. That's legit against the Eagles. I mean,
And they were down their top 2 corners.
They were down their top 2 corners, man.
I heard you yelling something about Belichick and lacrosse, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second, but I think he's done. Like, I think this is it.
You think it's over?
I think when you start losing to Josh McDaniels, to Brian Hoyer, and then more importantly...
Hoyer's my boy, but go ahead.
I mean, listen, it's Brian Hoyer, okay? But more importantly, when your most trusted soldier, really, he's your favorite teammate. It's not a shot at Hoyer. He lost to Hoyer.
He had me my career season, so I always have an affinity in my heart for Hoyer, which I will point out. I had 824 yards in my best season in the NFL.
That's why he's your best friend.
Tyreek Hill has 814 in 6 games. Right now. Just want to point that out.
It is a fun exercise for you to hear that these are real people. You were just like, Brian Hoyer sucks.
Right.
And he's just like, he's actually a really nice guy. I gave him my best career season.
Well, his best friend. I mean, right. And now I feel terrible. Get Hoyer on with Hawk next time he's in. Can we do that? Well, you can get him on, can you?
Great golfer.
Great golfer.
All right, now we're back.
See what we did?
Wow. But here's the larger point. When you have Teddy Bruschi, his most trusted soldier, taking shots at Belichick at a pregame show, it means everyone has lost faith in Bill. And so I feel like this is it for Belichick. He has lost it. He is done.
What did he say about him? I didn't hear what
he said. He's making this all about Bill and not about the team. He's chasing Shula's record. He knows he basically said Bill Belichick would fire Bill Belichick.
Is he? Do we not? Can we not make a football Illuminati type conspiracy that Bill is trying to get them in position to get Caleb Williams?
100%.
Wow.
Is that would that not be the thing that makes the most sense?
It was too
Bill?
obvious last season when he hired Matt Patricia to be offensive coordinator. So he's like, all right, I got to do something different.
And Carolina's not taking him.
If that wasn't the plan, that's definitely his pivot right now, for sure.
I mean, Mac Jones has been bad. He has been bad before these past 2 weeks.
So is Caleb.
He is missing throws down the field to where it's like, it doesn't make sense that you haven't been pulled.
Hawk, have you seen a quarterback go from okay his first season to regress his second season to be like this bad his third season?
I can't call one to recent memory.
Blake Bortles.
Bortles had some great seasons in Jacksonville.
Right, and then
Those first couple of years,
the AFC Championship.
and then he got beat.
But they were a really good team. Blake Bortles was never like...
Well, but Zach Wilson is on a really good team and will get his opportunity to look better.
Year one, he wasn't what Mac Jones was. Mac Jones was decent year one.
No, Zach.
Blake Bortles was good year one.
They weren't asking him to do a lot year one either. I think that the problem is he hasn't developed beyond what he was in year one, but he's trying to do more and he's not doing more well. It's like... that's why it's worse. It's like, when we have to keep you on such a short leash, this is the only way you can look great. And his problem is he's not doing the things that he typically does well, good, which is processing, decision making, being smart. He just threw all that out the window. He's like, to hell with it. I'm just gonna do crazy stuff constantly.
How do you feel about goodbyes via text?
I'm okay with him.
Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, closure.
I'm okay with him.
The conversation.
It's an ongoing conversation.
The conversation is still happening, but I'll talk to you later. A little TTYL, a little see.
At a certain point, it depends on who it's with. There's people that will keep a text message string
like
going.
if I was texting you.
Yeah. What time?
Hey, what time you come in later? And then we talk about work, and then afterwards, I'm like, all right, bye.
I'm down with that. I'm not gonna write back bye. I'm just gonna like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
If you like my bye, I'm good with that.
Yeah, but it's a one-way bye.
If you no, that's a two-way bye. If you like my bye, that's you saying that's you.
You're just assuming he likes.
That's
your
a
bye,
head
though.
nod to my bye.
I like the fact that we can end a conversation and for
Right.
sure know that I don't have to check this thread anymore.
Exactly.
And it's not going to continue on to different topics that I don't really want to feel like talk about, but I feel obligated to continue to answer.
Why were you screaming about Belichick in the other room before you came in here?
They were having a conversation about lacrosse, and Belichick is a fan of lacrosse players and rugby players.
His daughter's a lacrosse coach.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I was just confirming that he tried to get Paul Rabel to try out for the Patriots.
Get out of here.
I promise.
Conversation started at the beginning. We were talking about 7-Eleven and how Jamar Chase is now wearing a 7-Eleven chain, but is he paying proper homage to the original OG 7-Eleven, which was Chris Hogan, who we were talking about, great lacrosse player, which is why Belichick was like, all right, come over here and play receiver for me. And then that's how the Belichick lacrosse thing started.
I thought it was because flag football and lacrosse are now going to be Olympic sports. Yeah. I thought that was the conversation in which NFL players are going to be trying to go over to the Olympics. I tried to go play rugby.
Really?
I did. I trained for an off season, but they wouldn't let me go do it. But Nate Ebner went. They tried to get Johnson Batamosi. These are guys who had rugby backgrounds for rugby sevens. But I'm going to take a run at the flag football. I'll be 42 years old.
If our show challenges someone to a flag football game, can we count you in?
Oh, count me in.
On our team.
On our team.
We're taking on the Pat McAfee show.
You can not only
or Dan Patrick show.
Don't just count me in. Find your spot for the trophy. I'm the best flag football player in media.
Yes.
Hands
So
down.
are you actually like trying out for this Olympic team? Like, how does this work?
I'll be 42, so I don't think my knees will allow it to be.
Yes.
But had it been in my
Not with that
my
attitude.
era, there's not, even if they said NFL players could play, there's not a single player in the league that I would have been the Caleb Williams of flag football.
So you played quarterback?
Before the Notre Dame game, though.
Well, as a receiver, meaning the first pick.
I have more questions for Hawk. Can you stick around?
Let's do it.
All right.